everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. My name is Sunny. I am here with my co-host, Caleb. Woo! And, of course, before we get too far in, we want to thank the Patreon. So a huge thank you to Cam Yang, Austin Johnson, Kane Martin, Gate Guardian Support, HGH Cyber, Marshawn Jones, Witchcrafter May 2022, Zyphorus, Zephyrus, AD, Aaron Gardner, ABC, It's Easy as 1, 2, 3, Anthony Leela, Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant is a Floodgate, Branded Fart, Cult of the Eldritch Gummy Bear, Damian Zink, Dank Nugs, Invoked Fart, Mountain Man, Nico Gao number 1 Bottom Text, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado. Sorry, I got distracted. Pig, Rudolph, Sneaky Links, Sunny used Stubbornness, and it was super effective. Unbanned number 95, Konami, Virtually Savior's World, What Does Pot of Greed Do, Zyngus Khan, Asami, Dragon, Maidenless Behavior. Oh my god, that's a new one. Dragon, Maidenless Behavior.
Oh, I love it so much.
Geez. Libromancer Best Deck, Max C Solves Combo, Nordic Best Deck, Old Man Red, Pin Code 143, Ray Powell, Shockmaster Did Nothing Wrong, and Slaking It Up. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. Hey, keep these entertaining names coming. ABC, It's Easy as 1, 2, 3. I enjoyed that.
Dragon Maidenless.
That's on another level.
That's almost no, that has surpassed that XL Entei joke I made before.
I don't remember it.
Oh, somebody said something and I posted a picture of the Excel logo and then a picture of Entei. XL Entei.
Oh, you did that in the Discord server. I remember that now.
I've done it to you in a text message.
I just remember it in the Discord server. Excelente.
To be fair, it was like a decade ago when I did it.
Yeah. We've been friends a long time.
Yeah.
You realize at this point, we have actually been friends more than half my life?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway, all this to say that I have been one-upped by Dragon Maidenless.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good.
That might go on Twitter after we're done recording. That's excellent.
It's Excelente.
Anyway. Oh my goodness. Woo. All right. Of course, we also want to take just a moment to thank our wonderful sponsor, Dragon Shield. So, Dragon Shield is, of course, a wonderful company that you can get all of your sleeves and stuff from. You can hear Caleb shuffling there in the background.
Yeah, boy. The nice shuffle feel from Dragon Shields is bar none.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their matte art sleeves. Like I said, I'm using the Water Dragon 2022 ones. You can hear that great hand shuffle. Great stuff. Stuff.
Yeah, so go to their website using our I forgot what the code's called.
No, I'm gonna make you remember. No.
Yeah, use our code over
affiliate code.
Affiliate link. Thank you.
Yes.
Use our affiliate link to go on their website, get some sleeves, some really very nicely priced sleeves for probably some of the higher quality sleeves on the market.
Yes, and I am going to email them to get the EU link working soon also.
Excellent.
I meant to email them about that like a week ago, and boy, am I a busy individual, I realized. So,
yes. Well, yeah, I mean, you didn't get home last night until what, 10 o'clock?
Last night was a nice night. Last night it was like 7:30. It was the night before, it was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, night before. We still had to record.
Yeah. I work like 12-hour days, and then I come back to the studio, and then we record.
And then I go home and edit.
Yeah, until like 2 o'clock in the morning.
And then go to bed, wake up at 7.
Yep, to bring your fiance, girlfriend?
Yeah,
fiance to work.
Sometimes I say wife because...
Yeah. At this point.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, and then I come home and do other stuff.
Yes, we stay busy. Anyway, so be sure to check out both our TCG Player affiliate link and our Dragon Shield link if you're looking for anything from either of those websites. All you do is click it before you shop, and then just shop like you normally would, and it changes nothing else about the buying experience.
Or the pricing.
Correct. All it does is help us out. So, let's also take just a moment to thank everybody that has left us a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and those that have gone and subscribed to our YouTube channel. It really does help us out quite a lot. We really appreciate it. And if you want a chance to win some Dragon Shield sleeves that they have sent us, please go ahead and follow us on Twitter. Every time we get to another 100 follower mark, we're giving away some sleeves to somebody. So I think the next one is 700. Once we get to 700 followers on Twitter, we're giving away another set of sleeves.
I do believe so. I haven't looked in a couple of days.
Yeah, it's 700. I'm on Twitter like all the time. So,
all right. So now we got that all out of the way.
Yep. Let's go ahead and get on into the meat of today's episode. We're doing a couple of things today. First, we got a bunch of new cards that have been released, and then after we do the new cards, we're going to take just a moment to talk about Edison format. So,
because I'm in an Edison format mood.
Yeah. So be sure to hang around until later on in the episode to check that out. So let's go ahead and talk about the new Tier Elements cards. So this is the Tier Elements after beating the bad guy. So we're going to start with, and this is from Darkwing Blast, I believe is the name of the set. Yeah.
Dabble.
Yeah, Dabble.
Yeah, Darkwing Blast.
We have Tier Elements Lucaros. So close to Lucario. Level 8 Water Aqua Fusion Effect Monster, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Fusion materials are Tier Elements.
Chetakaros.
That one. And 1 Tier Elements monster. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1. Your other Aqua monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. 2. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes special summoning a monster or monsters, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then send 1 Tier Elements card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. And 3. If this fusion summoned card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon this card. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, because then if you don't have one to send, she can just send herself, and then she just revives herself.
Right.
Now, you can't like activate her effect, send her, she revives, activate her effect again, send her, she revives it. Both of those are hard once per turn.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next. We have Tier Elements Grief. Normal spell card. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn and only once per turn. So this is what we would call a super hard once per turn. Alright, 1. Special summon 1 Tier Elements monster or Visa Starfrost from your deck or graveyard, and if you do, send 1 monster you control with the same type or attribute to the graveyard. 2. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one of your banished Tier Elements traps, add it to your hand. Interesting, not bad.
The second one is interesting. I don't know how you would, outside of your opponent, like, Twin Twistering it. I don't know how you'd get that effect off.
Foolish Barrow Goods.
Foolish Barrow Goods would get that.
The first effect is like the crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you do have to sacrifice, quote unquote. You have to, rid yourself of one of your monsters of the same type or attribute. So if you summon Tier Elements, you'll have to get rid of a water or an aqua monster. Oh no, how hard is that?
Right.
The issue is if you summon a Visa Starfrost, you have to have another Fiend or Light.
Right.
And if you don't, you gotta send him.
Yeah, I guess you could just send a second copy of himself.
But you'd have to already have the copy on field. Send one,
you control.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, next we have Tier Elements Heartbeats. Quick play spell card. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. Same thing, a super hard once per turn. Target 1 spell or trap card on the field as cost. Shuffle it into the deck, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. If you control Visa Starfrost at activation, you can target 2 spell or trap cards instead. And 2, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target 1 Tier Element trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Yeah, it's alright.
Twin Twisters is better.
Yeah.
It's literally just a worse it's a searchable worse Twin Twister.
Yes. Well, this one shuffles them into the deck, I guess, which is cool.
It depends on the spell or trap. Like if you know for a fact that that's a
and sending the card from your hand to the graveyard is part of the effect, not part of the cost.
Yes, that is a very big point, but like sending it back to the deck is only advantageous if the cards that you were popping have graveyard effects. A great example would be Phantom Knight Fog Blades.
Or the Eldritch monsters.
Yeah, sending them back is just kind of...
Big oof.
Yeah, it's just kind of a oh no moment.
And we saw that in the most recent YCS. In top 32, Hani was playing Foolish Return, and he used it to shuffle a Haquero back to the deck from the graveyard.
Yeah, so he couldn't banish it. Which was hilarious.
Yeah, and it won him the game. It's strong.
Think about that card just real quick. Not only can you do that, if your opponent like goes 3-axis into Cherubini sends Water Enchantress.
Yeah.
You can chain it to put the Water Enchantress back in the deck.
Yeah.
Which is funny to do.
It is funny, yeah. Next, we have Tearlament Scream, a continuous spell card. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. One, if a monster is normal or special summoned and you control a Tearlament's monster or Visa Starfrost, you can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Also, all face-up monsters your opponent controls will lose 500 attack for the rest of this turn. 2, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add 1 Tearlament's trap from your deck to your hand. There you go. That's why you run Foolish Burial Goods and 3 of that.
So, fun fact. The kanjis of each of these of the spells we just read out not only read like Tearlament's Grief, whatever, they also read out, like with Tearlament's Grief, it also can be read as Echo Swirling in the First World. Tearlament's Heartbeats can also be read as Heartbeats Shaking the First World. And Scream can be read as String Sound Ripping Apart the First World.
Cool.
It's just something cool with the kanji that I thought was cool.
All right, you get the next page.
Cool. So we have, what is this? 2 continuous spell cards? 2 continuous spell cards.
Yep.
First off, we have Gadget Box. This card is always treated as a Morphotronic card.
Of course.
You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. 1. When this card resolves, place 3 Morph counters on it. Oh boy. 2. Once per turn, you can remove 1 Morph counter from your field, and if you do, special summon a Gadget Box token, Machine Earth, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. You cannot special a monster from the extra deck while this token's on the field, except Synchro Monsters.
I mean, it seems kind of cool, honestly.
Yeah, it gives you an extra, once per turn you get an extra little level 1 body on board to Synchro material. Next we have Toolbox. That's the name of the continuous spell.
Yep.
Toolbox. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. 1. If you control a monster, you can reveal 2 equipped spells with different names from your deck. And if you do, your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand, and the other one goes on bottom.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And I like the fact that it specifically states that you have to pick 2 different ones.
Yeah.
So you can't just do like Phoenix Blade.
Like they do with Power Tool Dragon.
Yeah, Phoenix Blade. I'm getting Phoenix Blade. I don't care which one you pick.
Dude, I didn't think that the Morphtronic cards were like that good or anything. Like, I thought they had potential.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. If you have not seen MBT's new one-take testing on Morphtronics, holy moly, that deck can do anything.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that they're going to errata the new one.
Telephon.
Yeah, Telephon before it comes out. Because it can infinitely loop itself.
Yeah.
So it's attack mode effects, because Morphtronics have different effects in attack or defense position. We've read this out before, but I just want to talk about this for a hot second if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that you roll a 6-sided die, and then you gain that many life points times 100. You can special summon a Morphtronic monster from your graveyard whose level is equal to or lower than the Telephon.
Yes.
So Telephon's level 1, so no matter what you roll, if you have a Telephon on field in attack position and a Telephon in grave in defense position, you got it. Normal summon the first Telephon, activate effect, roll the dice, same life points gain, special summon the other one in attack position. Link one of the first Telephon into a link 1. Effect of the new Telephon to bring back the first one. Link 2. Bring back and then you just loop the 2 over and over again and just link climb. And you can make Halka Fibrax because they're both tuners.
Yup.
So if you somehow are able to get all three copies in your deck going, then things get kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Because once you get all 3 going, you can, like...
Keep looping them for link material.
Yeah, because then you can just, like, link 2 into Halka Brax, use the one you left on field, get out a tuner, use the one you left on field. Not even. You can just, like, with 2, make Hulk, affect a Hulk to bring out another one from your deck and attack position.
Yep.
Effect to revive the one in grave, and then the new one's effect to revive the first one.
And then the effects of the ones that are already on field, the 2 older ones. And then you can just like use those as link materials,
and then just keep and as new link monsters. So you still have the Halka Fibrax.
Yes.
So then you link 2 into Dagda, affect the new one to revive it. Affected Dagda set Scythe, revive the 3rd one, just keep climbing until you get into a Appaloosa, and then during your opponent's turn, you activate...
Oh, Appaloosa's not the end here. You can just keep climbing into access code.
Yeah, but let's just say
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, let's say you're going first. You then rank climb into Appaloosa, let's say, pass. So you have Scythe and Halka Fibrax.
I've heard of synchro climbing. I've heard of link climbing. Rank climbing is a new one.
My bad.
It's okay. I know what you meant.
It is the thing. It is the thing, by the way.
Rank climbing?
Yes.
I'm just going to trust you. Continue with what you were talking about.
Okay, so then during your opponent's turn, again, you activate the effect of Halka Fibrax, who tags out into
TG Wonder Magician.
Whose effect activates when it's special summon. You pop 1 card in the field. Pop Scythe. Boom, Scythe lock.
Yeah. So you have like Appaloosa plus Scythe lock.
And then you can.
Also, this deck has FTK lines too.
Yes.
Because you can infinitely loop the telephons. If you have the Toon Cannon Soldier on field, it literally is an FTK.
Yes. Anything.
Toon Cannon Soldier or regular Cannon Soldier, which are both legal in the TCG.
Like literally any card where you tribute a monster or send a monster to the graveyard to burn.
Yes.
And something else hilarious you could do is while the telephons are in attack position, you cannot ash them because their attack position effect, because their effects activate, right? And then it checks which one of the 2 effects it is. So if it's in attack position, you cannot ash it because it's not getting anything. It's not activating an effect to get something out of the deck. It's activating an effect to revive from grave.
Yeah.
So you can use them, sit there and like climb into an Appaloosa, and then start making the more risky plays because then you've climbed into an Appaloosa, and
you could also just do the Shadow Priestess of Ohm FTK.
Yeah, and all of this gets completely broken by the Duke Devlin dice stuff.
Yeah, like it was already like and then the Duke Devlin dice stuff is just like, oh yeah, by the way, I can just special summon 1 from deck because it has an effect that involves rolling a die.
Yeah, so you activate.
Oh, and the whole time you're doing this, you're also gaining life points.
Yeah. So like you just activate Dungeon Dice, which then lets you search for Dimension Dice. Activate Dimension Dice, which lets you special summon the Telephon because it has an effect that rolls dice.
Yep.
And then as long as you have 1 engraved, you're off to the right. Or even if you have 1, because at this point, you have a normal summoned.
If this card doesn't come out with a text that says "Except Morphtronic Telephon"
or hard once per turn,
then these cards will literally be. You're going to see the first Morphtronic ever on the ban list.
Yeah.
Or at least limited. It could just get limited.
Which is fair, because at that point, it being limited would immediately eliminate the issue.
Yeah, it would infinite looping. Yeah,
just infinitely reviving itself.
It's like Night Assailant, but good.
It's Night Assailant, but like what Night Assailant wishes it could be, because it's not revolving around flip effect monsters and can fetch itself.
Well, Night Assailant doesn't revolve around flip effect. It's when it's discarded from the hand or when it's sent from the hand, when it goes from the hand to the graveyard.
Yeah, you add a flip effect monster from your graveyard back to your hand.
Right, so it's not about hand, it's special summons it.
Oh.
Yeah, like the Telephon special summons it.
Yeah.
But Night Assailant didn't special summon it, just added it.
Yeah. But to be fair, this is also at a time when set a monster, set a back row, pass was a very powerful first turn.
Yeah. In fact, for a long time, the humble T-set pass was like good.
Yeah. And there was actually an argument to be made for T-set pass being better than set a monster, set to back row pass.
That's not an argument to be made. That's just true.
Because it turns,
Heavy Storm is a card.
Yeah, it turns on Heavy Storm.
Yeah, because if you just set 1, like if you just T-set pass,
your opponent's trading a 1-for-1 for Heavy Storm.
Right, which is like kind of bad because they kind of want to hold Heavy Storm until they can push up for a lot of advantage. Whereas if you set 2 in pass, then it makes the Heavy Storm a no-brainer, honestly.
Yeah, just because then it's a 1-for-2.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1, yeah.
Anyway, we got way off track here because we want to talk about the Morphtronic stuff.
Honestly, if you haven't watched that one-take testing from MBT, please, I think as of recording this, it released today, so when this episode comes out, it will have released yesterday. Won't be hard to find. Just Morphtronic one-take testing on YouTube. Just superb.
But overall, I think these 2 cards are very thematic for Morphtronics, as both of them do kind of help Morphtronics push what their strategy is. Yeah. Which is going into Power Tool Dragon and then either sitting on him or upgrading him into Lifestream and then upgrading Lifestream into Power Tool Brave Dragon.
Is it Power Tool Brave? Is that the new Power Tool?
I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm just calling it Power Tool Brave for now because that's what popped in my head.
Yeah, the new level 9 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, this brings a whole new meaning to the deck being a toolbox deck. I thought you would like that.
Oh, that's great. Also, this deck becomes like actually good. Like they don't errata it. If you're able to somehow not get FTK'd, which I think the only way to not get FTK'd by that deck is you very specifically having Effect Veil or Imperm in your hand.
Technically, avoiding the FTK is Ash does also stop the FTK.
Yeah, like whatever.
If you stop the Dimension Dice.
Yeah, you can either stop the Dimension Dice, or you can, or if you don't have the Ash, but you have the Imperm or Veiler, you just wait for them to put out the thing that would be burning you, and you just negate the burn.
Oh, absolutely not. I negate the Telefon.
I mean, it really does depend, because if they go like Dimension Dice into a Telefon, activate effect, they haven't normal summoned yet.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you hit the burn card, then they can still set up like an unbreakable board.
Fair, that is fair.
Because they don't need the burn card to do the unbreakable board.
Yeah, but then on the clapback, the funny thing you can do is just look at them and go system down.
Yeah. I'm not... The deck, it can absolutely play through interruptions, or depending on the hand, it could just die to 1 interruption.
Yeah.
So it can be a little bit fragile, but it's still really good.
Dang, if it ain't consistent.
Yeah, you could also set up a Therian King Regulus negate, like, early, and insulate your combo. You could literally have an end board of Apollousa for 4, Therian King Regulus, plus Scythelock. That's a completely doable board.
Yeah. Technically, if they really wanted to, they could sit there and loop through literally every single Link monster in their extra deck.
Yes.
Theoretically, but then they start... After a point, they would have to, like, using Link monsters as Link material to make other Link monsters just because they don't have the zones.
This is the deck that, if Max C was legal, is the deck out deck.
Yes.
It's literally an infinite special summon loop.
Yeah, it's literally just activate this. It's literally just activate this effect at Maxi. Cool. Telefon. I don't think you can infinitely deck out because eventually you'll run out of ways to put the Telefon back in the grave.
Oh, I guess that's true.
It's not truly infinite.
I feel like you could keep it going for a long time, though.
Oh, definitely. You can easily...
And you can break boards because you run Relinquished Anima, and it's level 1. Oh my god, that deck's crazy.
You can run multiple copies of it and just keep stealing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think Anima's probably the hard ones per turn.
Well, I mean, like, over the course of...
Oh, okay.
You know.
All right. Next we have...
New archetype.
Yep. This is the Kshatri La. Kshatri La? Kshatri La.
I actually looked up what Kshatri was a reference to. It is a reference to... I gotta look it up again.
It's actually here on the...
Oh, shoot. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, a warrior aristocrat caste in India, along with Shangri-La, a legendary paradise believed to exist in the Himalayas.
Yeah, it comes from Kshatriya.
Yeah.
Kshatriya. So...
All right.
Kshatri La. Got it.
You want to do... I'll do the first 4, you do the second 4?
Sure.
All right, so first we have Kshatriya La Fenrir, level 7 Earth Psychic Effect Monster, 2400 attack, 2400 defense. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. 2, during your main phase, you can add 1 Kshatriya La monster from your deck to your hand. 3, when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent's monster, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, banish it face down. 2, Kshatriya La Unicorn, level 7 Wind Psychic Effect Monster. 2500 attack, 2100 defense. You can only use the second and third effects once per turn. 1, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. They all do that. 2, during your main phase, you can add 1 Kshatriya La spell from your deck to your hand. 3, when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish 1 monster from it face down. Next, Kshatriya La Ogre, level 7 Water Psychic Effect Monster. I like that they're different attributes.
Yeah.
Level 7, 2700 attack, 1000 defense. Oh, it's hilariously, accidentally a Mega Monarch. Because it's 28, 1000.
Oh!
That's funny.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You can only use second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1, if you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. 2, during your main phase, you can add 1 Kshatriya La Trap from your deck to your hand. 3, when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, and if you do, banish 1 of them face down. Also place the rest on the top of the deck in the same order. Next, we have Kshatriya La Shangri-La, rank 7 Fire Psychic Exceeds Effect Monster. 0 attack, 3000 defense. Materials 2+ level 7 monsters. You can only activate the first effect of this card's name once per turn. 1, during each standby phase, you can special summon 1 Kshatriya La monster from your deck. 2, each time an opponent's card or cards is banished face down, you can choose 1 unused main monster zone or spell and trap zone. It cannot be used while this monster is face up on the field. 3, if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 material from it instead. With this card, it's almost like they tried to redo Ojama King.
Yeah, but
in
good.
a way.
Also,
I don't know about what good, but they tried to redo Ojama King.
I also like how with the namings, you got like the Indian with the Norse with Fenrir, Indian with Mesopotamian with Unicorn, and then you got the Indian
Ogre.
with French.
Are ogres French?
Yes.
And are unicorns
Mesopotamian.
really?
The idea of the unicorn is Mesopotamian. The name unicorn is Latin.
I'm just going to trust you on that. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just going to trust you.
And then, of course, you have the Indian and then Shangri-La, which is Tibetan. Over in the Himalayas.
Again, I'm just going to trust you. All right, your turn.
Little fun fact real quick. Not only is Ogre French, so is the, I just thought the name, and I was about to say it, and it's Tarrasque.
I don't know what that means.
For those of you who know, the Tarrasque is French. Do with that information what you will.
The Tarrasque?
The Tarrasque.
What is that?
Don't worry about it.
How do you spell that?
So next up, we have Decline Scareclaw. Normal spell. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. 1, target 1 primitive planet.
Oh, it's a D&D reference.
Reichphobia. It's a French monster. It's an actual French monster.
Sure.
If you can target 1 primitive planet, Reichphobia you control or in your graveyard, return to the hand. Then if you control Visa Starfrost, change 1 face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position. 2, if there are 3 or more defense position monsters on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add a Scareclaw from your graveyard to your hand. Note, the kanji for this means something like decaying via the fourth world. This is a really cool card, because first off, it lets you, if your opponent outs your field spell, you can just add it back to your hand, and then reactivate it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you control Visa Starfrost, you also get to Book of Moon something.
This is fine. I don't know.
And then, but then also you can banish it to add a Scareclaw back from your graveyard back to your hand, and an archetype around putting monsters in defense mode. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up, Kshatriya La Birth.
Kshatriya La.
Yeah, Birth. Berth. Continuous spell. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. You can normal summon a level 7 monster without tributing. Any level 7 monster.
Yep.
During your main phase, you can... Number 2. During your main phase, you can special summon one of your non-Xyz Kshatriya Law monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. 3. If your opponent activates a spell card or an effect and you control a Archetype monster, you can target 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard.
Didn't even pronounce it. An Archetype monster.
An Archetype is just a little bit quicker to say. You can target 3 monsters in your opponent's graveyard, banish them face down.
Like how I corrected you a second ago, and I do not know if that is the correct way to say it. It just sounds right in my head.
I know, right? Note, berth refers to somewhere where a ship lands at a harbor.
Okay.
Lastly, Scareclaw Twin Saw. This is really... I like the artwork on this. You can only activate 1 card of this card's name per turn. 1. Tribute a Scareclaw monster and target 2 monsters your opponent controls, destroy them. And if you control Visa Starfrost, banish them. It's literally Icarus Attack, but better.
Yes.
It's hilarious. 2. If there is a Link 3 or higher monster on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard. A Link monster on the field cannot activate their effects this turn.
Broken.
Note, the kanji reads something like Twin Fangs of the Fourth World. Next is Kshatriya Law, Prepare. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name used once per turn. 1. During either player's turn, you can special summon one of your Kshatriya Law monsters that is banished or in your hand. That's really good. 2. If your opponent activates a trap card or an effect while this card's face up in your spell and trap zone, you control a Kshatriya Law monster, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish 1 card from it face down. Note, you don't do anything to their trap card. It's still resolving. This just adds to the end of the chain. That just immediately goes on the chain next, and you banish something on your opponent's hand that you get to look at and choose. That's really powerful. To be fair, your opponent has to activate a trap card to activate that. That'd be amazing up against Eldritch.
It'd be alright.
Yeah, it'd be great against against any trap deck, because as soon as you activate a trap card, makes them have to think twice about what's in their hand when they activate a trap card.
Yes.
Next up, we have the last cards for Animation Chronicles 02.
Yep.
Do you want to start with it, or do you want me to start?
I can burn through these, and then you can do the next page. Or would you rather do this page and I'll do the next page?
Which one would you rather do?
I would kind of rather do the next one.
Okay, cool. I'll do this one then. Okay.
Okay.
So first off, we have an equip spell, Dragon Nails. Equip only to a dark monster. Not a dragon. Weird. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. It gains 600 attack. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. 2. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the monster is equipped to was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field. And if you do, equip this card to it, but banish it, this card when it leaves the field. That's actually a really solid equip spell.
Oh my god, dude. Kshatriya Law Birth, the one that lets you normal summon level 7 or higher monsters without tributing?
Yeah.
Super Ancient Deep Sea King Quellacanth is at level 7.
Yes.
So you can just discard 1 card and special summon as many level 4 or lower fish monsters as possible from your deck.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Next up is Thunderball. For those of you who saw the who remember the Dungeon Dice part of the anime, this is a little ball dude that one of them summoned that just kind of rolled around and didn't do a whole lot outside of just rolling over stuff.
He was a bomb.
Well, no, because like he spent a good chunk of just rolling around, ramming into Yugi's stuff, and when Yugi finally dealt with it, it exploded, and then Duke was like, "It's also a bomb."
Wow.
But it spent like the first good chunk of it just rolling around, ramming into stuff, destroying it. You can it's a Dark Fiend, level 3, 450 attack, 400 defense. I thought it'd be Thunder. You can only use this card's names 1, 2, and 3 effects once per turn each. 1. At the start of the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. At the end of the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Weird, but okay. 2. You can send a trap card from your hand or from among face-down cards you control to the graveyard. Destroy all the monsters in this card's column.
That's funny.
3. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, target 1 card on the field. Roll a 6-sided die.
No, in your graveyard.
Or your graveyard, yes.
No, just 1 card in your graveyard.
In your graveyard, yeah. Roll a 6-sided die, and if it is a 6, add the card to your hand.
Huh.
So basically, your opponent attacks. At the end of the damage step, you special summon this dude out of your hand into a column. Activate his effect, he just demolishes the column. I just hit the mic, I am sorry. But yeah, and then you send a trap card and he just demolishes that entire column. That's great. That is kind of what he did in the anime. Next up we have Requiem Duel. Quick play spell. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Each player can special summon one of their monsters that are destroyed by battle during this turn from their own graveyard in attack position. If you special summoned Elemental Hero Neos with this effect during this turn, when it battles an opponent's monster, its attack is doubled during the damage step. Basically, if your opponent has a monster and you can crash Neos into it, you can then activate this, but where you special mount the Neos and he's 5k attack.
Yes.
It's still not a good card because it requires way too much setup. Lastly, we have Morphtronic Impact Return, a normal trap card. You can only use either of this card's names, 1 or 2 effect per turn, only once that turn. Super hard once per turn. 1. Target up to 2 spells or traps your opponent controls. Shuffle 1 Morphtronic monster from your hand into the deck, and if you do, shuffle those cards back in the deck. Pretty good.
Yeah.
2. You can banish this card from your graveyard, targeting a Morphtronic monster in your graveyard, or among your banished cards, special summon it in defense position. It's got a really... Actually, yeah, that's like a actually genuinely pretty good card.
Yeah. Boy, if only it lets you summon Telephon in attack position.
Well, the thing is, you can activate that banish effect during your opponent's turn after their battle phase, and then during your turn, you can just tilt it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Or even like during your turn, activate its defense.
You just do it
effect.
in their end phase.
Yeah, activate its defense position effect.
Switch it to attack and then activate the attack effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And then like even if they add the defense position effect, you just go cool. Switch it to attack, activate effect.
Yeah. All right, this is the last new card. So let's talk about the new Naturia support. So
who had Naturias on their bingo card?
First, we have Naturia Mole Cricket. Level 1 Earth Insect Effect monster, 0 attack, 0 defense. You can only use the first insect effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1 during the main phase. Quick effect. You contribute this card as cost. Special summon 1 Naturia monster from your deck. If your opponent controls a face-up monster with the highest attack on the field, you can special summon 2 instead.
It's a lone fire,
but better. Yeah. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you special summon a Naturia monster from the extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So if your opponent has a monster with any attack, you can literally go normal, activate effect, summon 2, synchro into beast,
or Barkion,
and then activate his effect and summon him back. Crazy. Which he has a hard once per turn on both, but still
the fact that you can then revive him, and then maybe like I really don't know all the effects so often, but like if you have another way to put more, like you can make a Barkion, that if you have another way to put a level 4 tuner,
yes,
you can make beast.
Yes.
Speaking of level 4 tuners,
yep. Next we have Naturia Camellia. Yeah, probably Camellia. Level 4 Earth Plant Effect Tuner Monster, 1400 attack, 700 defense. You can only use the first, second, and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 Naturia card from your deck to the graveyard. 2. If you attribute a monster or monsters to activate a Naturia monster's effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard instead.
So you get to keep your Mole Cricket.
Yep. 3. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters, you can special summon 1 Naturia monster from your graveyard. I'm not gonna lie, these seem really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you read the third card yet.
I know. Next is Naturia Spring Breeze. This is a quick play spell card. Activate one of these effects. So the first effect that you can only activate one of these. Like when you activate the card, you activate one of the effects of the card, which I guess makes it's not once per turn, but it's like when you activate this, you can only activate one of the effects. I don't know. It's worded kind of weird.
It's kind of like a triple tactics talents where it's got multiple effects.
Right. When you activate, you declare which one you want.
Yeah. And then then like let's say you decide not to do the draw 2, you can't ash because
think that's wrong. I think
That might be.
I think you can ash no matter what.
I've never been in that situation where my opponent activated triple attack and I had ash.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive you can ash no matter what.
Anyway, the point being,
I could be wrong about that though.
the point being,
If I'm wrong, let me know.
activate effect, activate Natural Spring Breeze, declare which effect you're using.
Yes. Which the 3 effects are: 1, special summon 1 Naturia monster from your hand or grave. Okay. 2, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using monsters you control, including at least 1 Naturia monster. Okay.
So get like
Beast, Barkion, Landois, or Leo Drake.
Well, I was saying like Shooting Riser or Formula Synchron's quick effect synchro.
Oh, you can synchro summon whatever you want.
Yeah, but I'm just
I
saying.
just noticed that.
Yeah. But you have to use at least a Naturia.
Doesn't matter. That's still really good.
Yeah.
Next, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion material, including at least 1 Naturia monster.
Again, it doesn't care what the result is as long as you use the Naturia to make it.
And as a quick play spell card, this could be really good.
Especially because Beast, Barkion, and Exterio, the primary Naturia fusion, are all amazing.
Yes, they are actually very good.
For those who don't know, Beast is a level 5. When your opponent activates a spell card, you mill 2, negate. Barkion is similar, but it's when your opponent activates a trap card, banish 2, negate. Exterio is when your opponent activates a spell or trap, mill 1, banish 1, negate.
Yep.
None of those effects are once per turn.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for the new cards. I'm going to take just a second to do a quick ETB ad, and then we're going to hop on into the Edison discussion. So, a huge thank you to our sponsor, ETB Games in Alexandria, Louisiana. They are your one-stop shop for all of your card game needs. They have everything that you need for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Digimon, and all of the other card games that you love. They have singles and sealed product. They have deck boxes. They have play mats. They have binders. They have mat tubes. They have sleeves. That was the other thing I was going to think of.
Yeah.
So be sure to check them out. They have also have everything that you need for all of your tabletop gaming needs, as well as they do have a space for you to go and play some video games. So be sure to check them out. Their link is in the description down below. There is actually an Edison tournament happening at ETB on June the 25th. Our regular monthly ETB Battle City Day will be an Edison tournament. So if you're interested and you can get to it, please be sure to check that out. Again, it is in Alexandria, Louisiana. So with that said, let's go ahead and hop on into the Edison discussion.
Oh yeah. So first off, real quick, I just want to say that if you do want to join the Edison tournament but you're not sure of the card pool or any ruling stuff like that, there's a website you can go to where they literally have all that information.
EdisonFormat.com.
I will put a link in the description for everyone, so that way they can go check that out.
Yes.
They literally have a section where you can type in a card name and it'll tell you whether or not it was legal at that point.
It's really helpful.
GoFormat.com also has that as well, but we're talking specifically for Edison.
Yes. So you can. So when you pull up the Edison Format website, if you go to Rules and then go to Card Pool, you can type in any card name. Like for example, I'm doing it right now, and I can do Lone Fire, apply filter, scroll down, boom, Lone Fire blossoms right there. It is legal in Edison Format.
But let's look up a card we know for a fact isn't. Let's just say
Effect Veiler.
Yeah, Effect Veiler. It wasn't released yet.
Apply filter, boom, blank, nothing.
Yep, nothing, because Effect Veiler was not released yet.
Exactly.
So to give you a good list of like every card that was available at that time. And
Exactly.
They also have the ban list, and it's great.
Yeah, it's a wonderful resource that I absolutely recommend checking out. So some of the things to know about Edison Format in particular are it is a much slower format than what we play right now as far as advanced. Edison Format is based around the Edison, New Jersey Shonen Jump Championship. This was actually the very last Shonen Jump Championship that they ever held.
Because it was during that time period after that is when everything switched from Upper Deck to Konami.
Exactly. So when you get to this period in the game's history, Xyz monsters had not been introduced yet. I think
Unlike 2011 Plant Synchro.
Exactly. I think this is everything up to and before the Shining Darkness.
Yes. That sounds correct.
Yeah, because Ronin Totem is not legal, and Ronin Totem created Frog FTK.
Yeah. Also, Blackwings have already been hit by the ban list.
At this point, Black Whirlwind, I believe, is at 2.
Yeah, and Gale, which was one of the problem cards,
I believe is at 1.
yes.
In fact, you can go to the rules and then go to
Yes.
ban list.
And there's the list.
Yep. So as far as Blackwings in particular, you're right. Gale the Whirlwind is the only one on the limited list. And then the semi-limited list, which is at this point in the game's history is actually a real list.
Yeah.
Black Whirlwind is indeed at 2.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of interesting cards on that list, too. Like Ultimate Offering for some reason.
Oh, because gadgets are in the format and they're really good.
Yes.
And you can just keep normal summoning gadgets over and over and over.
Yeah, as long as you have the life points for it. It was ridiculous. So one of the key things about and the reason why a lot of people like to play Edison, not just because it was the last
SJC.
It was the last big major tournament held by Upper Deck. It's also because at this point in the game's history, there was a lot of viable decks.
Yes. So Edison format, I'll just go to the regular, like they do regular Edison tournaments through the Edison format website. The most recent tournament had, I think, 183 players. The top 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different decks in the top 8.
What was the one deck that got repeated?
Dragons.
Keep in mind, it's just Dragon.
Yes, just Dragon Turbo. For those that are curious, this deck looks something along the lines of like 1 Clear Vice Dragon, 3 Debris, 1 Gores, and then 1
Magna Drago.
Kawaki Meru Drago. Prime Material, 3 Red MD, because this is pre-errata.
Yeah.
Because you play with obviously the rules and the way the cards were at the time. 3 White Stone of Legend, 1 Flame Veil Guard, 1 Tragodia, and 3 Blue Eyes. And the reason that the Blue Eyes are there is because you're using Cards of Consonance as a draw engine.
And trade in.
And you can literally super redo for like a dozen.
Oh, yeah. Also, 1 copy of Flame Veil Guard, just because he's a level 1 tuner.
Yeah, and the whole, like, the way you turbo in this deck is by, you basically end on multiple red MDs in hand and a Debris Dragon. And it lets you go up and just OTK your opponent. You want, at the end of your first turn, because multiple Magical Stone Excavations, 3 Upstart Goblins, 3 Trade-ins, 3 Cards of Consonance.
Pot of Avarice.
To
put the White Stones and Blue Eyes back in the deck for you to use them again.
3 Super Rejuvenations. You're going to turbo through your entire deck, and you want your ending hand to have Trunade, Heavy Storm, one or the other, or both.
Yeah, to clear your back row. Lightning Vortex to clear out your opponent's face-up monsters.
Yeah, if necessary. And then at least 2 Red MD and a Debris Dragon with a target.
Normal summon Debris Dragon. Banish the Debris Dragon to special summon Red MD. Affected Red MD to special summon another Red MD. Affected the second Red MD to special summon the third Red MD. Then the third Red MD special summon something.
It's crazy.
Usually a Blue Eyes from the graveyard.
Yeah, this deck is actually crazy.
Oh, yeah. And like, first place was what, Vayu Turbo?
Yes, first place is Vayu Turbo. So this deck revolves around, basically you're using things like Dark Grepher to put a lot of your Blackwings in grave. Like, so you'll have Sirokkos and Vayus in grave. And then you banish the Vayus and the Sirokkos to summon Blackwing Armedwing. And you can banish a Blackwing Armedwing and a Vayu to summon
Armor Master.
The reason that this particular deck is so amazing.
You can also, by the way, banish a Vayu and an Armor Master to make Silver win the Ascendant.
Yes. Keep in mind, Vayu does negate their effects, but that's fine because they're still big beat sticks.
I mean, Silver wins 2,800.
Yes.
And keep in mind, you're also Blackwing, so you can still like normal summon Shura, beat over a monster, effect a special summon Gale, Synchro 7 and Armor Master.
Right, or you can just activate Black Whirlwind when you normal summon Shura. I mean,
yeah, you're still just Blackwing.
Right. The deck has a lot of potential. The deck has a lot of viability. But the reason that this deck is maybe the best deck in the format, or one of them, is because Vayu doesn't banish for cost.
Yep. So, well, this is also a format where there wasn't a whole lot of negation, but you're like,
It plays under Royal Oppression.
Yeah, Royal Oppression, and also...
Yeah, Royal Oppression does not stop Vayu.
Yeah, they'll just go, cool, effective Vayu?
Negate?
Cool, effective Vayu?
Negate?
Cool, effective Vayu?
Yeah, because Vayu is not once per turn either.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nasty.
Yeah, it's really good. And the cool thing about...
And also, Solemn Warning wasn't out at the time yet.
Correct. And Solemn Judgment is limited.
Yeah. But like, even if it was, you would activate Vayu, the Solemn Warning would negate, and you go, cool, effective Vayu?
Yeah. It's a really, it's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Oh, yeah, it's also, in my opinion, it's probably one of the cooler decks of the format.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite as cool as
Dragon.
Or Zombie Heroes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's talk. Actually, I think was that one of the decks in the top 8 too?
We got third.
All right, cool. Let's talk about third then.
Okay, so I'm just going to run through the deck list real quick. That way people have an idea of what I mean when I say Zombie Heroes. So, you're running 2 Kaias, 1 Dark-Armed Dragon, 3 Deep Sea Diva, 2 Malicious, 1 Stratos, 1 Infernal Prodigy, 2 Goblin Zombie, 1 Gores, 1 Mizuki, 2 Mystic Tomato, 1 Plague Spreader Zombie, 2 Pyramid Turtle, 1 Spirit Reaper, 1 Tragodia, 1 Zombie Master, 1 Allure, 2 Book of Life, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Brain Control, 1 Mind Control, 1 Foolish Barrel, 1 Heavy Storm, Future Fusion, which is pre-errated, so it automatically sends the materials, which is broken.
Very.
1 MST, Call of the Haunted, Mirror Force, 2 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, 1 Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Return from the Different Dimension, 1 Solemn Judgment, and 1 Torrential Tribute. And of course, your extra deck is a lot of the guys that you would expect, and your side deck is just some generic good cards. So this deck is interesting because you use the hero engine as a way to essentially get synchro material, also discard fodder for Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. You're basically just using the engine as you use the Infernal Prodigy for an easy tribute summon for Caius. And also, because you're running Infernal Prodigy, Malicious, and Diva, you have access to the Colossal Fighter Armory Arm at OTK.
Also, you get to run Pyramid Turtle,
which is one of the most broken, probably the most broken recruiter there is.
Let me put it like this. To this day, I went on the Yu-Gi-Oh database and I told it I only want to see zombies that Pyramid Turtle cannot summon. There's 38.
38.
That's including extra deck.
Wow.
There are 38 zombies that Pyramid Turtle cannot tutor out.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm scrolling through this list, and I think that there's only maybe 5 or 6 that are
legal at the time.
Yeah. And like at least one of them is an extra deck monster.
Yeah, hold on. And now here's the thing: it's 2,000 or less, so there's still some of them on this list that Pyramid Turtle can still summon. Because I told it 2,000 or more. Yes. So like Pumpkin, King of Ghosts, Red Eye Zombie Dragon, Nine-Tailed Fox.
It's good. The thing about the zombie deck is it's gonna take a few turns to get your setup going.
But once you get it going, it's near impossible to stop, particularly with Mizuki and Plague Spreader.
Yes, and the recurability plus Zombie Master not being a hard once per turn.
Plus, particularly in the match of against like Vayu Turbo, if your opponent just leaves a Vayu in their graveyard, activate Book of Life, revive one of your zombies, banish the Vayu.
It's very, very disruptive. It's really a good deck. I've built it IRL, and I really don't have many complaints at all about the deck, other than sometimes it can feel a little slow.
Fun fact: there are 195 valid targets
for Pyramid Turtle.
For Pyramid Turtle,
I wonder how many of them are legal in Edison format, though.
Let's see, Armored Zombie, Bloodsucker. I think Blue-Blooded Oni was also legal.
There's no way to really search by that. But
Yeah, Blue-Eyed Silver Zombie, Bone Crusher.
the point is, it's a very diverse. It's interesting to me that the deck that got third place, the Zombie Hero deck, is not playing Illblood.
Which is a really good card, but I think it's because in order to really get full advantage of Illblood, you have to spend your normal summon.
Yeah.
And remember in that duel we had earlier, where you did that, and I just went, cool, pop the Illblood.
Yeah.
Because Illblood has an issue where if it leaves the field, everything it special summoned also goes with it.
Right. So it takes time to set up, and then once you do set it up, it can be a little bit fragile.
Oh, incredibly. Like even if you synchro off the Illblood, if you leave anything that is special summon on field, it still goes with it.
Right. The other thing... So just out of curiosity, walk me through what are, in your opinion, maybe the best 3 or 4 decks in the format.
So Vayu Turbo is, in my opinion, is probably the number 1 best deck. However, I want to preface this with, let's say this is a point system, out of 10.
Sure.
Vayu Turbo would be 100, or it would be 10, I mean.
Yeah.
And then, the decks beneath are 9.9, 9.99, 9.98, 9.97.
Right. So, and I wouldn't even say that it's 10, because I don't think that it's just the best deck by that kind of definition.
Yeah, but to just kind of get the point across behind, yes, Vayu Turbo I think is the best deck.
I mean, for what it's worth, your top 8 in order: first, Vayu Turbo; second, Dragons; third, Zombie Hero; fourth, Hero Beat, which is like a skill drain hero deck; fifth, Black Wings, not Vayu Turbo, just Black Wings;
Yep.
sixth, Lightsworn; seventh, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior; eighth, Dragons. So,
And guess what's still viable and playable in this format?
Dragons?
Pac-Man.
Oh, don't give people ideas, Caleb. don't do that to the poor locals all over the country and all over the world.
Listen, that deck is a war crime, but it is still...
If anything, actually, it's better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because of the introduction of Fiendish Chain.
Not even that. Because of the introduction of Starlight Road.
Yeah, Starlight Road, Fiendish Chain, Thunder King Ryo.
I think Starlight Road is legal. Boy, if Starlight Road's not legal, I'm going to be upset.
And Vanity's Ruler.
Yeah.
And Grand Mole.
Yeah, Starlight Road is legal. Dude, Starlight Road is... This format is sick. If you haven't tried it out...
Do it.
Absolutely. And
Hold on, other notable decks that are entirely valid. Flamevel.
yes, I would also say Synchro Cat.
Yeah, Synchro Cat. Now, when I say Flamevel, I mean, oh no, I have 1 card in hand, and all my monster 200 defense are in the graveyard. Whatever will light rekindling, just special summon 5 monsters on my graveyard.
Yeah.
Synchro...
Ancient Gears got 13th place.
Yes, Ancient Gears with such wonderful cards as Ancient Gear Golem.
Ancient Gear Gadgeltron Dragon.
Yeah, that you have to tribute summon.
10th place, Fairy. Fairies.
Not agents.
Just fairies.
To be fair, they were probably playing Venus.
I don't know. Let's see. Probably not, if we're being honest here. Nope, no Venus.
Okay, cool.
It's just fairies.
I see the Nova Summoner.
The what?
Nova Summoner.
There's no Nova Summoner in this deck
It's
list.
the right. Yeah, it's Nova Summoner, isn't it? To the right of Raikou?
To the right of Raikou?
Or the left of Raikou, my bad.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were thinking maybe of Dimensional Alchemist.
No, that's Nova Summoner.
Yeah, this deck is just Archlord Christia Turbo,
Yeah.
which turns out pretty good.
Yeah, Floodgates are good.
Yep. Yeah, overall, the format is incredibly fun, very based, and I would absolutely recommend you check it out. Also, if you want to see some Edison format in action, you can check out the Ed, and Edison YouTube channel. I think they go by E3 Yu-Gi-Oh on Twitter, but it's basically all Edison format coverage. They cover the tournaments that are happening in the format. They go over deck lists and deck profiles. They cover basically everything you need to know about Edison format. I absolutely recommend checking them out if you haven't yet.
Ed and Edison. All Edison, all the time.
Yeah.
This has been a word from our sponsor.
Yeah.
No, they're not sponsors. It was just a joke I made because I kind of... Announcer voice. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Before we go, let's take just a moment to discuss the podcast question of the day. So,
oh boy.
The most recent one was, what are some of the things you do before you go to a tournament? We got some good answers. Check to make sure I have the essentials. Deck, deck box, play mat, dice, and a calculator of some sort. All very fair. Make sure I have my calculator notepad, but mainly test. Then go X2 and make money on side events. Hey, I mean, you do you. Stay up till 3 a.m. the night before worrying about matchups, then sleep the whole way there. True. Spend ages preparing a deck only to not play it. Oh, I've been there. Sleep, gather items the night before, snacks, deck box, playmat, etc., and set an alarm. For bigger events, for locals, you slap together 40 cards and start playing. That's fair. Speaking of locals, don't forget, we do remote duel locals at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time in our server every Thursday, so be sure to check that out. Those are really starting to pick up some people, and they are really enjoyable. We have a lot of fun with those tournaments.
You can also learn so much.
Absolutely. It's and don't be afraid to come into the remote duel locals and not really have the best deck or things like that. They're not like hyper competitive events. It's just something.
It's for fun.
Yeah, and they're free to enter also.
With like no actual pricing outside of bragging rights.
And also you do get if you do well enough in the tournament, you get an invite to our Tournament of Champions that we're name pending. We don't know how we're gonna do it. Like Top Cut Champion tournament or something like that.
We're still
labbing the name.
Yeah, we're still figuring that out.
Yeah, but if you do well at that, you'll get an invite to our invite only tournament, and the invite only tournament will have some prizes at stake. And if you have your invite, that will also be free. So be sure, and there's also a prize for whoever has the most invites, because the invites roll down. So let's say you get first place one week, you get your invite, and you get first place the next week. Then you get your invite, and then the next person down in the list who doesn't have an invite yet also gets their invite.
Yeah.
We're not being stingy with the invites.
No, we are not. You can get multiple invites.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't mean you'll get in multiple tournaments. It just means you'll get extra stuff.
Well, if you get whoever has the most invites at the end will get a separate prize. So
we haven't decided what the prizing is yet. Still figuring that out.
Probably be a cool card like an ultimate rare or something.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're still figuring that out. We will let y'all know as soon as we get that sorted and
we're thinking
sourced
about potentially even a trophy.
Ooh.
Caleb's like, ooh, I didn't know about this.
Ooh, first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it more later, but keep just something to think about. Just something to think about.
Yeah.
All right, today's podcast question of the day is, what do you think about Edison format, and what do you think is, or how about this? What is your favorite deck in Edison format? Your favorite deck to play? Be sure to let us know in either the YouTube comments or on Twitter or on our Discord server. I will admit, we've been lacking on the Twitter side, posting these to Twitter. I've been extremely busy with work, and it's like I wake up in the morning and I have to post the question, and sometimes I forget because I have to go to work, but I'll try to put this one out. So be sure to check that out. Check out our affiliate links in the description down below. Check out our Patreon, our Discord, great places all around. And until next time, have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care, everybody.